Hi, Robert.
Well, good afternoon. No, morning. I guess it is morning for you.
Good afternoon to you.
Yeah.
Where are you again, Robert?
Atlanta.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. 9:30.
So, yeah, we actually have a couple of new members on the website. I've made it open now. It's free. So if you know people who would like to join, feel free to invite them. So yeah, so the network is free.
I really should start using it because I want someplace to share and to post stuff that comes to me.
well,
And
you can do it there, sure. I mean, yeah, and you can do it other places. You can do it many places,
Facebook, I just can't. It's hard for me to go to Facebook.
Well, you might want to look at Medium. Medium's another place. They do ask you to pay at some point. You can have a free account, I believe, but it's a real popular place for people who are writers, basically, and who are really wanting an audience. Yeah. Yeah. So I have a blog there.
Oh, really? You have a blog there?
Yeah. I mean, that's basically what it is. You post articles. They don't call it a blog, you post articles. And people can surf it and follow people that they're interested in and that kind of thing. So
now, why would you post on Medium rather than on your network?
oh, I post both places. I post 5 or 6 places.
Okay, it's medium.org.com.
It's a good question. I don't know for sure. Let's see.
Well, we don't need to.
Medium.com.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, it says stay curious.
Thanks.
Yeah, a lot of writers are on Medium, so it's very well respected and gets a lot of traction.
So, Robert, you look like you're kind of sleepy.
Oh, really? No, I'm not. I've just been out gardening.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I haven't got there yet. It's not been that warm, but I have one of my newest things is I am getting a master's in composting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, composting is quite an art.
Yeah, so I'm in class every week till the end of April.
Oh, that's
And
wonderful.
and tomorrow we're doing our first pile as a class. So I've collected leaves and coffee grounds.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be something if all of us did that? If there was something set up locally for everybody to do that?
Yeah, well, this is a city class. I'm taking it through the city.
Oh, that's great.
And it's free with a promise to do 40 hours of training.
Interesting.
So you might look. I mean, Santa Barbara's city might.
Oh, I'm sure they have something. Atlanta has lots of opportunities.
Yeah.
People are just too busy. I mean, that's the reason it's not catching on. People have things they prefer to be doing. But I mean, my wife and I work up here all the time. And then there's one other person, our next door neighbor in the complex. She works up there every day, but virtually nobody else does. They're not interested, and that's fine. Of course, they don't get to say what happens up there then. Even though it's common land.
That's what I was doing in the garden that they kicked us out of.
Yeah.
I bought a compost bin.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm trying to figure out how to actually compost in my house because I haven't. My landlord would not like a pile at all. And there's not really a place for it. There's nothing that's private. everything's very public. So I kind of agree with her in a way that the pile would not really, there's just really not a place for a pile, but I can do a Tumblr, I think.
Go.
And I wanted to know about that. And so I've talked to people, and I think that's probably where I'm going to go, because it's something I can take with me. It's something I can turn. I don't have to get out a pitchfork.
That's right. Oh, that's
So
right. And you don't have to bend over. It's just you just. I'll send you the link to what I bought.
oh,
It-
okay.
It's really nice.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
right now it's under padlock. They
Uh,
padlocked the whole thing.
you
It's
can't even get your own property out of there.
what am I to do with it?
Yeah.
Where am I to put it?
Yeah.
I don't have a place. I'm not going to do it on my patio.
Well, that's the kind of thing I'm thinking of. Actually, it will be, pretty public, and really easily accessible, which is a good thing, but it doesn't look that bad and it doesn't smell or anything. So,
Yeah, well,
yeah.
mine's on I live on the second floor, the top floor, and I just don't see having a compost bin, because then what would I do with the compost? I don't have any place to grow anything.
Yeah. House plants.
Well, I'm full of that.
Yeah. Well, you can use your compost for house plants too.
I can also, that's
I mean,
complicated.
if you're like me, you're not going to be making a lot of compost either, because it's not like you're using lawn clippings and trees leaves. It's mostly house stuff. So
My
it's
house,
not a whole lot of compost.
but
Yeah.
my house plants are thriving indoors with the dirt that I have, and the oxygen carbon dioxide I give them and everything. It's a nice little ecosystem in here.
There you go.
Very
There you
happy
go.
plants.
Happy plants. Here's one right here.
Yeah, there you go. It does look
Oh,
happy.
yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, we got one back here.
Yep, I can see it.
Nice. Oh,
Yeah,
that
I do not have a plant in my bedroom.
do not.
I do not, but actually now that I'm thinking about it, I could probably put something on the top of this desk. Oh, maybe I will do that. I've got an artificial plant, but I don't have a real one.
Take that one out.
Yeah, well, artificial plants from feng shui are powerful also, so they do help in that regard. So, and there's a lot of, the house is north-south facing, so the east-west are the best windows, and they only work so many hours a day, so it's really a lot of darkness. And certainly internally, there's really there's not enough light for plants. So I've got lots of artificial plants there. So, and the windows are crowded with plants. I've got geraniums on one in my daughter's room. I have geraniums that I keep from year to year. So they grow all year round and they flower all year round.
Inside.
Well, I put them outside in the summer and then I bring them in for the winter.
Oh, okay.
And then I put them outside in the summer.
I could consider that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's check in. Anyway, I could start. I just pulled myself out of the most miserable place I've ever been.
Oh.
And I've been there for a while, where I would just get up and not want to. For what? It's like,
Yeah.
what? Connect. Just felt disconnected, solitary, and unhappy, with nothing to look forward to except my responsibility for planning for my death.
There's always something, Annie, always.
Yeah, in the 80th decade. Okay, I got a plan for my death now, which is
Yeah,
true.
no. Yep, no, I've been looking at that. I've got lots of people around me who are looking at that too. So yeah.
But it's like just not feeling connected with. So Monday, I just took the bull by the horns and went on the internet to find out what activities in the city I could go to, what senior centers, are there senior centers? Anyway, I found things that I found Mondays for chess and book club, and Thursdays for ping pong and line dancing. Because I want to meet people. I want
Sure.
friends.
Yeah.
I want family. You know, and the people who live here are old and not a lot, and not energized. And I don't have any friends to hang out with, or to,
Yeah.
you know, this deep dive is my best thing. So, but I pulled myself out of it. And I had my doctor write a note to give to my management to get a dog.
Oh, good for you.
Because it's against the lease. So,
Right.
but I could get a dog. But since I can do ping pong and line dancing and chat and that stuff, I might not even need a dog. But
Well,
I need connection and interaction and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I would get a dog anyway.
I know.
Dogs are a great way to meet friends.
Yeah, and they get you out.
People love to talk. Oh, what a beautiful doggy you have.
Yeah,
That's true. I forgot about that part.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, because I had Yofi before, and he died. But when we would walk, yeah, there's friends, there's people who like to talk.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't need anything more than him and the work that I was about. You know, the community stuff.
Right.
Anyway, that's my chicken.
Well, I won't deny the fact that I continue to work simply because it's an important connection, you know,
Yeah.
to, stay, have something ongoing every day, every week. And there are other things too, quite a few other things. So that's why I'm only working half time, not even half. But just keep my hand in it. I love it.
Yeah.
People call me, so I don't have to, go after it, the work.
Right. Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
And what's the term again of what you do? An architect kind of person?
I'm an architectural designer. I graduated from architecture school and actually have worked in the field for 50 years now.
Wow.
But I've always done it on my own, so I never did get licensed.
Didn't need to.
And I didn't need to, because since I wanted to, well, actually, there are quite a few people, some of them opening up some pretty substantial firms, hiring a lot of different people, of people who never got licensed. So they hire someone who's licensed because they have the drive, they have the design creds, that and the clients.
Right.
Hire an architect on board, and they hire an engineer, and they can create quite a large company.
That's interesting. I would have thought licensing was really critical in your field.
No, it isn't. that is not known by many people.
Yeah, it's
But
surprising.
in actuality, it isn't. I mean, I've
Right.
never had any trouble.
So what about, so you just have to get your job certified, basically?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you meet code, they don't care how you get there, basically.
Well, if you're doing commercial or public work, an architect has to stamp all the drawings, but that architect could be your employee.
Huh.
You know, and for residential work, I have an engineer review all of my engineering,
Right.
which is fine. I mean, they charge me $300 to review it, and then they'll stamp the structural drawings. And then that gets me through any of the building departments for residential. Actually, it would probably work for light commercial as well. But I don't want to do that.
So is that just in Georgia or any place?
Anywhere.
Really? Wow.
Might have more trouble in New York City, for instance, but yeah, basically anywhere.
Wow.
It's interesting to get that little glimpse into that world through you.
Yeah, as I say, I mean, I wasn't being glib. Unless people have tried it, they wouldn't know.
Sure.
That you can do this, and many fail because, you know, it is more difficult to make your way into the field because you don't have the reassurance for your potential clients, you know, that yes, you have these tickets, I
Right.
call them. But you know, after 50 years, you learn a thing or two.
Isn't it nice? It really is. It feels so good.
But it does take something to get started, you know, way back when, you know, fresh out of architecture school. But I mean, I had a very interesting story. I don't know if I've ever told you, Kathryn, but I'm sure Annie hasn't heard it. But so I had done a lot of work with friends in communes in Eugene, Oregon, after I graduated finally from the University of Oregon Architecture School. But I decided that after doing this construction, not only design, but also construction with the crews from the various communes, I decided to settle back in Eugene, and I would get a real job and become licensed, be an architect. So I went to an architect. I don't know whether he was the only one who would see me, or at least he was the one who stands out. So he said, okay, what have you got to show me? I only have 3 minutes, you know, and it's that sort of thing. It went to an hour or more before he finally said, look, I got to get back to work. But, you know, I'd showed him all this work we'd done, but more than that, I'd explained how we did it, which was even more interesting. I mean, it was a country store that we'd remodeled this old store building that's hanging over a river, you know, and it's on the main route, but otherwise it's just a podunk little town. And we created this wonderful store with fully skylit, and, you know, so he was just enthralled by the story. And he just looked at me, he said, you don't need a license. You're already in business for yourself. And, so he was the one who, you know, yeah, convinced me.
Did he send you clients?
What's that? No, he never did. Other architects have sent me clients and engineers along the way, but no, he didn't do that. But basically, went back to a lot of the people I already knew and just kept building on that. So, but it takes something to realize that you can do it. And that's
Yeah.
what
Oh,
most people
yeah.
don't
yeah.
ever make that connection.
That agency, people don't think they have it. Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
a very important step.
Yep. Yeah, it's the important step, actually.
And so,
to
anything I'm saying or have said in the past 5-10 minutes, whatever it's been, has to be preceded by that, mea culpa, that, I was able to take that leap. And if I hadn't, none of it would have, because I knew
Right.
plenty of people who tried and went back to live at their parents' house, or, did whatever they could to get a grunt job,
Yep.
bailed.
Well, yeah. Well, and everything I've done has just been because I did it. Nothing special. It's just you want to do something enough that you figure out who you need to talk to make it happen. That's
Right.
all. It's
And
just
there is that. There's also, though, another factor, and that's a basic humility. I would take on the smallest job,
yes.
and I would do whatever it took, as
Right.
long as I felt that, this is a step, this is coherent with the path that I'm following.
Yeah.
I would do it. I didn't care. Oh, and at that time, $3 an hour, $4 an hour. I finally made $5 an hour, and I thought I was living, pretty high on that.
Yes.
Although I must admit, $5 an hour in today's,
Oh no, you couldn't do it.
well, no, to what that would be worth today, it'd be $30 to $40 an hour.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that bad. $5 wasn't that bad. $3 was a stretch.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing how fast that's changed just in our lifetime?
Yeah.
Jeez.
The whole time you've shared about this, your in my mind, your wife, your wife was there though. What I'm trying to say is, I think that is a very attractive quality. She was attracted to this quality, this agency, this capacity that you have. I just kept feeling her being attracted to you with that aliveness and agency and ability.
And she has it too.
Oh, that's
Yes.
nice.
What? Say more about her.
Oh,
What?
Terry's lived in community a lot, a number of years, maybe 20, 25 years total.
Well, what do you mean lived in community?
With, communal situations. As I have. I mean, I've spent at least 25 years in dedicated communal situations, and maybe another 5 or 10 where it was loosely seen by all of us as a, co-housing sort of situation, although it wasn't officially. I live in one now. I'm very close friends. My wife and I are very close friends with at least 4 of the other houses, because we've known each other for 20 years, 30 years for Terry. But we don't have a common kitchen, that sort of thing, other than our own kitchens. We invite each other over for dinner all the time. So really, I mean, this is the way I've lived, and Terry as well. And, that's, well, no, this is tacos por favor. My other favorite work shirt is oh yeah, tacos, por favor. It's LA taqueria. But my other favorite work shirt is Georgia Tech Department of Neurobiology, which is where Terry worked. She never graduated from college, but she's so no nonsense, you know, get right down to business, and she exudes such, you know, give me your office and it will never have worked the same before, you know, and which is true. And so she's never been without a job, even though she works for other people. It's she soon takes over the office, so to speak, or she leaves. You know, she goes on to something better. So yeah, I mean, that's very much the same spirit and attitude.
Communal living, I would love that.
Well, and you had that with Barbara Hubbard, didn't you?
I didn't. I lived with her 24 hours. That was enough. I couldn't. I was, you know, after living with her that little teeny bit of time, I was in my car driving and I pulled over because I had to throw up. And somebody came by and asked me if I was okay, but it was so stressful I couldn't stand it, because she expects everyone around her to serve her.
Yeah.
They're all there for her, so you do whatever centered around her. You don't have your own life.
Oh,
So
interesting.
Yeah, I found that about famous writers. But you know, there's this group called Evolutionary Leaders.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I know some of them from the past. I've run into them, and I'm somewhat the same. But there was this other, I called a friend of mine who's the managing director of this Evolutionary Leaders. And I knew her from the UN very well, spent a lot of time together. And so she said, look, I want you to read this book, and by this minister who's written this book on the light. And so I did, and I started writing this woman, and she responded. And so I'm very pleased by that interaction, because I realized that she wasn't totally full of herself. You know, that was very important.
Yeah.
What's that?
I mean, it is important. Because I reach out to people all the time, and half the times they're totally dismissive.
Right.
You know, they don't inquire back, they don't answer, they don't even respond. They just sort of blow it off.
And the thing is, the people, excuse me, these are people who have agency, and they really are putting something out that's very important into society. But, you know, if you can't live with them, it's kind of like, it's a sorry situation.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, say more about the Evolutionary Leaders group. What?
Well, I don't know a whole lot about them. I thought it was very odd that my friend has moved to San Miguel de Allende in Mexico, and that's where she lives.
Yeah, it's
Surprised the heck out of me.
It's a white expat place.
So we just, you know, we had a Zoom call together. but she can operate it from there. And they're all, Greg Braden is a member of
Yeah.
it, Barbara
Yeah.
Hand Clow, probably Barbara Hubbard, I think she is.
Oh, I know that group from a long time ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
it is. Yeah. Cool.
my friend has only been the director for like 10 years, but
Well,
it
what
could,
does that have to do with living together? With,
well,
with
no,
the
all I'm saying is that there are people in our society who are broadcasting something important, but I wouldn't want to live with them.
okay, right.
That was my connection there. I was a bit quick, you know, that, and so you can dismiss them completely by saying, well, if what they're really putting out is just ego, what's it worth? No, I think it is worth something, but I wouldn't want to live with them,
Yeah.
you know.
Right. But I forgot about looking for a communal living situation here in Santa Barbara.
Well, I thought you were looking at that one place, but you didn't like the apartments.
I don't know I don't know what reference.
Well,
know.
there was another senior living place that you felt more community oriented, and you actually applied there, but you didn't like the apartments. And I can appreciate that. I've seen a couple that I wouldn't live in either. Sorry.
No, I'm not aware of that reference. I have applied to Friendship Manor.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I lived when I moved from Indiana to here. I lived there the first 5 years, I think, and I loved it. So she let me know that there's probably an opening in early summer.
Oh,
So I'll just see then.
Yeah.
okay.
Because I want more interaction,
Yeah.
more natural interaction. I don't have to set up a time and a plan and a place for.
Yeah.
More natural interaction and connection and joining with people to do stuff.
Yeah.
And Friendship Manor is good for that.
Yeah, I think one of the most important things in a day-to-day sense of living is, you know, to be walking back, say, from the garden, or sometimes my wife and I work on the front lawn, which is all common property. And people will come out and say, hey, we're headed down to Vero's, you know, which is a pizza place. You want to come? I mean, it can be exactly the right thing, you know, just right there. The sense of well-being that, you know, comes out of that is just extraordinary. And
that's what I miss. And
yeah.
and I'm responsible for doing something about that.
And I wish we had children on the property, you know, this complex.
Oh.
We did in the past, but not anymore. So there are no children here, but
Oh my.
sometimes some of the younger ones act like children. Sometimes some of the older ones act like children. There is that.
Yesterday.
Well, I take my dog for ice cream. So I take my dog for ice cream.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. There's perfect route.
I had my spirits lifted a whole lot yesterday when I did the garden. This grandmother who lives here and her grandson were part of it, and he's 5. He was 5 and darling, just, and but then they shut us out, so I haven't seen them since until yesterday, and they just moved in downstairs in my building.
Oh, good.
And it's like, yes, it's made a difference in me.
Yeah.
Just So I saw him yesterday and I said, are you still 5? And he said, I'm 6. That's the world to me. That's
Yeah.
all I know
Oh, and you have it now. That's great.
it now. Good. And I told him, you can come and visit me. And I even yesterday spent time setting up a place in my bedroom with this little stand that I could put 2 of my instruments in my bedroom that he can play with, that I can play with him. So that was all I need. That's all I need. But I was really, but being without that, I was miserable.
Yeah.
Didn't know what to do with myself. But I'm out of it now. Connection.
I'm gonna let my cat in. I can hear you.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
can see her. Yeah.
The
she went.
connection is everything. Connection
Yeah.
with people.
Yeah,
And-
I found Zoom just so great for that. Yeah. So I'm have really nice relationships with people on Earth Regenerators and yeah, other places. So yeah,
in person.
no, it's all Zoom. It's all Zoom. But the conversations are more real than anything I would have here in person. I mean,
Oh, sure. This
So-
is for me too. But this is
Yeah.
a time specific, beginning and end thing. It's not spontaneous.
yeah, and to Robert's point, that the well-being that you feel when you know that the people around you care about you is tremendous. Yeah.
And or you can, or in providing it,
Yeah.
What?
or in providing it by seeing one of the people come out, you start neighbors, you start talking, you say, hey, we should go down,
Yeah.
go have a cup
Yeah.
of coffee or something.
Yeah. There's a feeling, I don't know what it is, but in the housing unit in which I live, it's lovely, it's beautiful, it's well run, but there's no conditions conducive to interaction. There
Yeah.
is a community room that you can do stuff in, but nobody initiates anything but me. And like, I make sure that I do a flyer that he puts an ad in the new newsletter announcing that the second Monday of the month we'll have the celebration for everybody's birthday, everybody whose birthday is in that month. So everybody comes together once a month for that. But that's it. No, nobody does anything else, and I don't. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm okay.
I can't imagine you not okay, Annie, so I'm glad to hear this.
Good. Good.
Let me ask you to, one thing I really do have trouble understanding is, I can feel sort of the pressure for it, but why would anyone give in to it? Is this sensing, this feeling of just not wanting to deal with it anymore and just pulling oneself out of it, watching TV all day or
Right.
or whatever one chooses to do. I suppose a lot of young people are doing it with their cell phones. They think they're totally connected, and maybe they are to a certain extent, but they're always watching their cell phones.
Yeah.
And and then entering, content, they call it, but that's not real interaction. I don't
Yes.
think.
I know what that feels like. That's the feeling. I was trying to convey the state of mind. It's called depression.
Yeah, well, that's what I was asking. Is this, it would seem to me to be depression. That's why.
Yeah.
And I
don't think people recognize it as such, though. I don't think they own that, which would maybe generate a response, but they just sort of go where it's go do what's easy. What doesn't take a lot of effort.
Stephanie Marshall helped me just by being my friend that I could write that too.
Have you talked to her? I haven't seen or talked to her for a while. So how is she?
She's good. Yeah. She gave me a call after I told, I sent her an email that I'm sorry I haven't been in touch because I'm depressed. You don't want to be with people when you're depressed.
Yeah.
Because you bring them down. Not that because you bring them down, but you don't want to invite anybody into that space.
Yeah.
Or something. But so it is when I read what I wrote that began my pulling out of the depression, admitting I was depressed. And that was just, the beginning of the week, this week. And I'm okay now. I'm not depressed. But that's what it is when you feel isolated, solitude, it's depressing when you don't feel connection. And a lot of people don't feel connection. I'm just fortunate.
I think part of that connection, though, is doing things together.
Yeah.
It's not just going out for dinner or lunch, but it's actually having some sort of project together. And
I've been involved in that online, in Zoom, in courses. This time it's not the same. It's like life is spontaneous. Life is interactive. And creating conditions for that is a challenge sometimes when you're warehoused in low income senior housing where everybody stays in their room.
Well, our social structure doesn't really support it anymore. I mean, it used to be that we lived in a way that we actually needed each other. You needed to know who was around you, and you needed to know how they were. And if you didn't reach out to and take care of them, nobody would. So people looked out for each other, and we don't do that anymore. It's not designed to do that. It's designed for us all to be independent and separate. So you have to overcome that to be engaged with anybody.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, there's no Grange to go to. If you don't have a church, you're tough out of luck. There is no other place that you can go to. Senior centers, yeah, maybe. But yeah.
And somehow I have designed this for myself by the choices that I have. And I appreciate learning and being exposed and experiencing this kind of feeling situation because I understand it. I can take an overview of it, and I'd love to start an initiative or to be part of an initiative to do something about it, because I'm always up for that.
Yeah.
But it depends on the connections that you make with people in your life spontaneously. If there's not something online that you can go to and
you can reach out to others. The telephone still works.
I almost called you.
You can. You can, I'm here.
asked me, so how are you in the email? I thought I didn't respond because I didn't want to dump all that. I didn't want to. I didn't want to. I That's not how I want to be with people,
Mm.
and I'm responsible for getting out of it, and I'm
Well,
grateful
not
that I know.
necessarily by yourself, though. I mean, that's the whole point of community.
But see, there's something about life that interacts with itself. It's not always up to me to do. I mean, it's it's a global malaise.
Well, and so I did reach out to you.
Yes, you did. Thank you. And the fact that you have this forum, deep dive for us is a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's interesting because it's not just me. I'm so aware of that.
Yeah, well, for me, part of that really is the interest in exploring stuff because people, I don't even want to be in person with people that aren't engaged in their life. It's just empty.
Yes.
It's not enough to, I mean, I'm having kind of a hard time with my church because they're all involved in the work of the church, doing this, doing that, but not in the life of the church. What is the
Exactly.
church going to be around? What are we doing? What do we have? We have one little project that somebody has taken on and everybody's letting her do it. Instead of really, there's just not that energy of being involved in. And it's like, okay, I can be here, I can do stuff, I can do that too, but it's not nurturing to me. I don't feel real connected and involved with that. The circles where I am exploring like regenerative economics has been more interesting and engaging and bringing people together. Governance, we got a circle looking at governance, so we're bringing stuff, people are sharing what they do. It's much more engaging. It makes me feel like it's worth my time. I get something and I give something.
Yes.
In the church, I don't feel like I'm giving anything, that there's nothing that I want to give that they're truly receiving. My work, yes, sending out emails and doing agendas. Oh yeah, that's fine. But that has nothing to do with me. And that's just not anything that they're truly interested in. It was very interesting. I'm in a leadership group and I'm a mentor. And that's also okay. And there's been a little bit I've been able to add to that. But I had the people I was mentoring ask me what else I do. And they found that interesting. And that was nice. That we're more engaged with who we are and not just this particular just learning this thing. Yeah. So it's just, yeah, it's the engagement, I think, more than the physical proximity, because physical proximity can get just as boring and stifling.
Absolutely. I'm not engaged in anything in space, in time and I'm not engaged in anything. I'm on the computer. I interact with people on the computer and have these kinds of dialogues that are so life affirming.
Mhm.
In the community, I don't have a car, and that might be part of it, but for some reason I don't want to have a car.
Yeah.
I don't have one. I like I I like going on the bus. I like walking to the store. I like the freedom of that. That doesn't cost anything, and it's healthy. Um,
But
but I'm not engaged in the community I tried to get engaged again, but Eine Gallery, where I was hosting a community for 16 years, he doesn't want to use the space for that anymore. But if he had said yes, I would be engaged. And I haven't found another place, and I'm not interested in churches for the very reason that you said. You know, that it's church. It's like, it's not engagement. Anyway, it's still unfolding, I guess. I mean, I'm okay today.
Well, I think one of the main secrets to that is just to do what you, to share with people what you do best. I used to, well, I've had the greatest fun doing carpentry with friends or even clients, some clients. You know, I'm not out there as a handyman carpenter by any means. But for instance, on the street here, you know, I offered to build some garbage, you know, containment, just a couple of fences to go around the garbage cans for each of the houses. And, you know, I said, well, look, you know, the community buys the materials and I'll be happy to do it. But one of the main reasons was simply that with each one, I asked you know, the homeowner to join me. And
Yes.
some, you know, not all of them, but at least everybody came out and spent time talking, even if they didn't really join in. Others spent the, you know, spent the afternoon or morning, whatever it was. And Terry, my wife, she loves to cook. So she'll invite people to come over and cook with her. And that's particularly good with the children, who in our case now are the grandchildren, or, you know, the nieces and nephews, since they don't live here on the street. But, you know, they love to do that. My cat, who now wants to go back out again, she has a job, which is the one thing she's good at. She can tell time, you know, the diurnal clock, you know, she's very good at that. So within 10 minutes, plus or minus, of 6 o'clock, she comes in and very dutifully wakes us up. And she has a pattern of doing it. She goes around to both, you know, one, then the other. And if we're really, you know, ignoring her, she'll leave. She'll come back 10 minutes, snooze alarm. Tries again. And, you know, I could say, well, she's just hungry, you know, she just no. Sometimes she's hungry, wants to be fed, but other times she'll just join us for coffee, and that's what she wants. She doesn't eat at all at that time. What I'm saying about this is that maybe I'm anthropomorphizing, but I would say that every creature needs to feel included in what they belong.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure about plants yet. I'm still reading up on it.
Oh, did I send you the article I had? Did I send you the article on plants that I found?
No.
Oh, I will research that out. It's just wonderful. He talks about how plants do all the things that people do, but without minds.
Well, I'm reading a book right now by Paco Colvo, and it's called Planta Sapiens.
Yeah.
And it's the whole planta. It's from the Spanish, Planta Sapiens. His whole point of the book is that plants do have minds.
Yes.
But the thing is, he starts the book, the first 50 pages, and I love him for this. The first 50 pages, he hardly speaks about plants. He's talking about our thinking about plants, our biases, our clouded vision that we've just blinded ourselves to what plants are. I loved him for that. It's just say, clean your consciousness for a total new shift, and then come and join me. I loved it. So
Beautiful.
I have an article that goes along these lines. I would love to read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just lovely. Yeah.
Me too, please.
Okay, will do. Yeah.
It's-
I'm going to get this book.
I mean, it's all life. It's
Yeah.
all,
Yeah, it is all life.
that's the
Yeah,
thing.
and we have this entitled and privileged approach to it, that somehow we are so special, and we are just so not.
Well, and in many respects, we're absolutely deluding ourselves,
Yeah.
because we are not up to it. We're not living life. What we're living is something very different. What
Yeah.
we've been talking about the last hour
Yep.
Exactly.
is
Exactly.
the fallout from non-life, non-living,
Yeah.
Exactly.
depression,
Yeah.
Isolation, disconnection. I mean, it's a serious deficit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. And I think it's global. It's like a cloud that's just
And that's
come over.
why we're
us.
not choosing life. We're choosing death in so many ways, because it doesn't
Yeah.
feel worth it. It doesn't feel worth it.
And the
Because
thing
everybody's
is-
so damped down.
Well, and we read this predilection that we have into other creatures, like our pets. Yeah, I can't tell you the number of people who tell me that cats are, or don't want to be
Standoffish,
associated.
aloof.
Chloe, that little black cat, not only wakes us up and dutifully, I mean, every morning in the same way and determinedly. We call her the hood ornament, because our couches and chairs have a armrest. She comes and sits there like a sphinx as we drink the coffee. She doesn't drink coffee. I might have given you the wrong impression, but she definitely wants to join us while we do it.
Yeah.
And our chairs are right next to each other, so she's right in the middle.
Beautiful.
Keep her away. I mean, this is oh, and by the way, because she's been invited in like that, people come in, oh, your furniture, it's not protected and it looks like it's brand new. Doesn't your cat's? No, her cat has never touched it. Why would she? She gets the attention she needs. It's all these things they catapult,
Right.
what's that word? They cascade into, just this series of effects once, you don't have the proper relationship, interrelationship.
Right.
Yep.
And I don't know why it's so hard at this time and day and age to create conditions that break through whatever it is.
People are terrified. They're just terrified of the changes they see and don't recognize, and are blocking out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
It is pretty.
It's really scary. And the
Daunting.
more you learn, the scarier it is.
Too small a word, perhaps, but what's facing us, just the recoil that's being expressed by the news media, because a man who was a former president of the United States, who's broken many laws and spewed hate, just is finally being indicted. Oh no, this is going to be terrible. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
No, I mean, Terry and I, we just look at each other and shake our heads, particularly about guns. Oh, nothing can be done. Nothing can be done. It's like,
Nothing can be done. Yeah.
I don't understand it.
no, except when what we've been talking about, this cutting, particularly Kathryn just now, cutting themselves off from life, multiplied 1,000 times. Okay, then it begins. If I can imagine that, I can understand why, it's happening.
Yeah, in HR this morning, there was a bunch of evangelicals talking about how they're trying to address the corruption of the evangelical movement and really getting people to think about their values, what they really value, and to begin to, in one case, people make a pledge that they will adhere to these values. They're not asking them to vote in any particular way. They're just saying that you are going to act in a way that is in alignment with the values you've just espoused, and that you'll pay attention to that. And that is opening people's eyes, because they're starting to think and evaluate instead of being caught in the groupthink that we're all together and we all believe this, and so it feels good, but it's not really what I want. Yeah.
Are you aware of any leading edge initiative accessible on the internet to be part of that is on the leading edge of opening up people to feeling again, to being alive?
They are, but they all come, the ones that I know of all come from a point of view. I mean, evangelical Christians are evangelical Christians. They're very strong Christians, and they truly believe in Christ's message. And if that's fine, then you can work with them. If that's a problem, it makes it difficult, but they're coming from that perspective. They're saying Christ talked about love. Christ talked about helping the downtrodden. If that's what you believe, then let's act like it, and is this other group talking about that? If they're not, then why are you there?
I mean, I spent 6 years as an evangelical Christian, and because I am. I mean, Jesus, right here, I reference him often as I'm living my life. But I can't, but you have to go through a very narrow door to get to that bigness of life.
Yeah. Most Christian churches are not there. I absolutely agree.
And it isn't a matter of capability. You have to go through. It's about it.
Exactly. And I'm still here to make sure you do. Repeat after me.
Another group that I join every week is a friend of mine, holds it, and it's a very disparate group of people. The one continuity, I think, is with all of the others, that they truly believe in the readings that are downloaded of, what do they call it? I don't even know the terms that well. Ascended masters, or I don't even know those terms much anymore. But whatever they're receiving, it's as good as any of the scripture that I've read in the Bible or in other sources, Bhagavad Gita. It's good stuff. And what's important is that they're walking through the door. They're there because they're wanting to walk through that door.
Right, to be what they're learning.
Okay, so those people I can spend time with, even though I let them know, I don't know what you're talking about. You start talking about ascended masters and galactic forces and meaning, sort of like armies and stuff. And I don't discount it as long as what they're walking through that door with, that's all I'm interested in. So I love talking to them.
Good.
And I think they love talking with me. So, but that's the sort of thing that I think we have to look for, that we're not going to find it in a package.
No.
I'm never finding it in a package. That's exactly what I have lived. Except for maybe Terry, now that we've lived so close together for so many years, I could say that. But other than her, I mean, everyone's could be otherized. They could be other.
Yeah.
In many ways, they are, and yet we can walk together, in which case you're not other. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it's, so I hear what you're talking about, Annie, is that, you know, there needs to be places where people can feel this and experience it together. And thank God for Zoom.
I have such deep, full passion for initiating that and don't know where or how to do that.
Well,
But
Kathryn has done it through Zoom, and another friend of mine, Gio. Kathryn, you may have met him.
Yeah, I have. Yep.
The one I'm talking about, this Thursday group.
Okay.
So people are doing it, but boy, it could be a lot more.
Yeah, I wish Virginia would do that. I think she has the capacity, but it just feels, I don't know, just it's just never, I feel like she could go so much deeper than she has on the meetings that I've been with her on. I love the playfulness. The drawing has just really been very impactful, but we talk so much at a surface level on so many.
Yeah.
Virginia.
She's a friend common to the two of us, to me and to Kathryn. She lives in Worcester, Mass. Has been involved with the United Nations, and that's where I met her. I mean, for years. She's very outgoing and has a lot of friends.
She's a coach, and she had a realization around the Phoenix when the 2011 happened that told her that that we could rise from those ashes, and so that's been her purpose.
But I know what you mean. That, I mean, I've been very close to her for 6 years now, and pretty good friend for 25 or something. And yet, I only just in the past few weeks started to realize that when she's talking about the Phoenix, she's really talking about the Shekinah, you know, in the Christian sense, you know, the Shekinah fire, you know, the spirit of the Son of Man, you know, in biblical terms.
Right.
That's what she's talking about. And I asked her, and she admitted. She said, "Yeah, that's what I'm talking about." I said, "Well, yeah, okay. It took me a long time to figure that out."
Yes, you should say it. Yes.
Otherwise, it was almost like she had an ascended master there. You know, this Phoenix.
Right.
I think that's how I kind of conceived of it. And no, it's something very much that I totally understand and live with, you know. It's changing how I, you know.
I've tried to draw her into things, and she won't come. She's not come to anything I've invited her to. She wants to stay in the circle she's created.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, there's great value there, but I hear you. I mean, there's a limit. But there's great value there for what she is doing. And just like my friend who is the managing director of Evolutionary Leaders, I mean, there's great value in what she's doing. But I'm not having these kinds of conversations with her.
I thought that Andreas Weber was, I mean, I had hopes that what he was bringing forward in his,
Yeah.
whatever it is, the 3 books by him that I have.
Oh, you mean this one?
Yes, the biology of wonder. Yeah. Yep.
I've been referring to it. That's why it's on my desk.
Yeah.
Because I felt, oh my God, this might be the tidal wave of feeling again, of being open and interacting and oneness, and but it hasn't become a movement. I want to be part of a movement. I was addicted to buying domain names that I wanted to initiate movements from. I bought 35 over a period of years, and just knew that this movement, but it doesn't, it's not there yet. It's not there yet. But
Well,
but I think it does have to do with feelings, with our sensory
Bringing our body back into our life. Yeah, absolutely.
bringing our bodies back into our lives. Nice.
but as
Nice.
far as the movement's concerned, Ani, I'm not sure it's not happening. It just might not be the way we're imagining it, because
I would agree.
Kathryn, I don't know how many friends you're linked to in different ways, different groupings. Ani, despite your feeling of certain depression and seclusion, I mean, we all go through things like that. I know you have connections all over the place, and I know I do. And I know my wife Terry does, and they're all different. So there's not one consolidated movement among the 4 of us, but it really does collect a whole lot of people within that net, a lot of people. And then my friends next door, a whole other range. My friend across the street, a whole other range. So that's really a lot of people, and it's being carried through a spirit rather than a distinct form.
Yeah, no, and I'm hearing the conversation all over. I mean,
Yes.
that I didn't hear a couple of years ago, frankly.
Frankly,
That
yes.
Yeah, there are a lot of people who are really talking about the planet is alive, that we are part of it, that it's just, there's so much of that. Yeah,
And
there's
that
just,
I have something to do with this. I can take agency and assist with this. That's what people are saying.
yeah.
We can all nod in agreement. Yeah, that's what we're doing.
If I had a place to bring people to, I would do it. I haven't found
Find
it.
one. There's got to be one around you.
Well, you have one here. We come to be with
Yeah.
you.
That's a thought.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point of the network, is that people can do that.
Yeah.
All the foundation is there. I've paid for it.
I've got a 2,000 person mailing list from Eine Gallery that I did for all those years, that I'm just sitting on, wanting, if I had a place, I'd invite them to, but I'm gonna consider this thought
Yeah,
about being alive and connected
yeah,
with people, alive, connected, other people, bringing our bodies into our lives, our sensory capacity for living, for feeling life.
yeah.
Okay. And the network is free.
Yeah.
Okay.
And your poetry is the perfect starting point.
Yeah, yeah.
Some of it really is good. I'm touched by it often.
Good, because I feel the same way. I'm glad you do.
Yeah. Well, that's a thought.
And I'm going to have to go.
I'm gonna have to go too. I was just about to say that. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, it has.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, bye.
Yep. Big hurts.